I can see that people are starting to travel home for Christmas. I see college students returning, new faces. Rodrigo, welcome back. He spent 6 months in military training, just got back. Welcome, Rodrigo. It's nice to have our cantor back with Amanda. But I say all this because I know my mom this time of year, she becomes a real mother hen in the wonderful sense. She just gets excited because all the kids are coming. When our families come together, what a special time that can be, and should be. And that's really what the focus of today is about. The fourth candle has been lit. We as a parish community have been focusing during this time of Advent, these 4 weeks, on the way in which we can say yes to God in a new and profound way. That we come to this Christmas celebration with a renewed sense of what it's about and how I'm going to let the Christmas mystery and miracle impact my life in a greater way by saying yes to it anew. Thinking about Mary and how she gave a wonderful yes to God, an incredible yes. And we've been reflecting upon different ways that we can say yes, haven't we? Last week, the focus was, can we say yes to more joy in our life? Today, in this context, knowing that many of us are going to be gathered with family and friends, for us to be able to say yes to those important relationships in our lives, to say yes to the key relationships in our lives. We see witnessed in the gospel today, Mary and her cousin Elizabeth intentionally gathering together in an important time of their life, and how beautiful that encounter was. This incredible yes that they gave to each other in this important time in their early motherhood. And the importance they gave to serving one another and caring for each other. That's a model. We can sort of put that as the background of the yes that we are going to be invited to make in the next few days especially. I offer to you your family and the key relationships in your life. And I invite you to say yes to them again. To say yes again to those most important relationships that we are a part of. And some of those relationships are very easy to say yes to. Some of us have some great family experiences. Rejoice in them. Enjoy them. I hope you have a wonderful time. Build those relationships. But we also recognize that sometimes relationships amongst our family and those close relationships are a little tough. We're all in that same human family together. There's no finger pointing here. But for us to say yes to them, that we would say yes to those relationships, to say yes to a greater restoration in our family relationships, to say yes to reconciliation where needed, to say yes to an increased relationship. That we, followers of Jesus, that we should be the people that say yes to that, shouldn't we? We should be the ones that say yes to these most important relationships in our lives, that we would be the one that takes the first step forward, the first step toward. So that's the invitation today, that we would say yes to these most important relationships in our lives. And isn't that what God has done with us in the whole mystery of Christmas? This relationship between God and the world that needed some work, and so God put a big foot forward, and that foot belonged to Jesus. And he came to us. Christ came to us, towards us, among us. And his life was a big yes to build that relationship. And so inspired by Jesus and modeled by the saints, we too say yes to the important relationships in our lives, particularly our family and those key relationships that we live among. That's what I offer all of us. We're going to be in it for the next few days, aren't we? And that can be a wonderful, wonderful gift. And it can come with some challenges. Say yes to it, though. That's my invitation. Say yes to it. Say yes to it. Say yes. And it's not going to get fixed in one day. It's not going to be all restored in one day. That's okay. Just say yes to it anyway. Just say yes to it, to acknowledge it, and just to stand in the midst of it, and then let God begin to work in you and work in your family. That's what it's about. Saying yes and being open. So I wish you a very, very blessed Christmas with all of these yeses in mind. Just a quick recap. We say yes to God. I'm going to say yes to God anew in my life. And I invite you on Christmas to, in your heart, in your mind, however you're going to do that, to say yes again to a relationship with God. We're going to say yes to the needs of the people around us. Say yes to the poor. We're going to say yes to all those important things around us. We're going to say yes to joy. That's the rose-colored candle. We're going to say yes to joy, to be intentional about living that joy. Those of you who didn't get to hear me last week, I just said, fake it till you make it. You don't feel joyful? Too bad. Fake it till you make it. Our whole religion is based upon pretending to be like Jesus. So fake it till you make it. And pretty soon you become joyful. Be joyful. Say yes to it. Say yes to being a joyful person. And then today, we're going to say yes to our families and our key relationships. God is about a big yes, isn't he? Big yes. The saints had a big yes. And may you and I have a big yes this Christmas. I've been praying for you. I've been praying for you as you gather, and I mean that sincerely. I'm praying for you and your families and your loved ones. I'm going to pray for God to be right in the middle of all of that with his goodness and his grace, and with two gentle hands on your shoulders behind you, pushing you forward towards your family.